I will call the Cookeville City Council meeting for Thursday, May 18th to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Baji. Present. Councilman Walker. Here. Mayor Wheaton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Eldridge. Here. Councilman Gilbert. Here. 5 present.
Thank you. At this time, I will ask those that would like to do so to stand for the invocation given tonight by Pastor Rob Owens of Kynos Church, to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you would, please bow. Gracious Creator, we thank you for this beautiful community that you've blessed us with. Thank you for Cookeville being created. Thank you for what it is. Thank you for what it's becoming. And God, we lift up this leadership that have made sacrifices to lead us and lead this community forward. We ask for protection for them and their families. We ask that you would lead them and that they would heed your voice. As we hear you, Cookeville will be better. We ask that your hand will be upon this session tonight. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor Owens. Item 3, consider approval of agenda as presented. Are there any changes?
Yes, Mayor, there's one change based on our work session for Monday. We've added item 7H, was consider approval to purchase 2 SUVs with the fire department in stock.
Okay. Is there a motion on the amended agenda? Amended agenda, excuse me.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Bachi, second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 4A, consider resolution R230505, honoring Linda Weston for continued support of the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Shelter. Mr. Mills.
Mayor and council members, we recently unfortunately learned that Miss Linda Weston, who's a long-term loyal member of the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Control Board, was going to move away from Cookeville and no longer be able to serve on the board. Ms. Weston's been a valuable member of the board and has made significant contributions to our community. She was instrumental in the development and in the current operation of the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Shelter. She's president of the Friends of the Cookeville Putnam County Animals, and she's led numerous successful fundraisers and adoption events to benefit animals in our community. In recognition and gratitude for her service, we've prepared a resolution to honor Ms. Weston, and Mayor, I'd ask for you to read that resolution and for the council to approve.
We'll be happy to. Whereas with a sincere desire to assist the animals in the community, Linda Weston embarked on a journey with the Friends of Cookeville Putnam County Animals. And whereas the Friends group has been loyal supporters of the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Shelter, providing donations, time, and project support for many years. And whereas serving as a president of the Friends group, Linda's leadership and creativity has been evident with the community involvement and events such as the much anticipated Fur Ball, an annual fundraiser that benefits CPCAS greatly. And whereas diligently, Linda has successfully cultivated and maintained a public-private partnership between the Friends of Cookeville Putnam County Animals and the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Shelter. Whereas her dedication and passion for the animals is the foundation for the legacy Linda leaves with the community and the accomplishment of seeing the pet care campus go from a shared vision to a state-of-the-art facility that currently serves the community in many ways, such as education, care, as well as the addition of the Roger and Marion Moore Dog Park. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Cookeville, Tennessee, that on behalf of the employees and City Council, sincere and heartfelt appreciation is hereby extended to Linda Weston for her valuable service to the city and the Cookeville Putnam County Animal Shelter. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that this occasion be marked by honoring Linda Weston, president of the Cookeville Putnam County Friends of Animals, for her significant contributions, and that this resolution shall be duly recorded and filed in the city clerk's office. Adopted this the 18th day of May, 2023. We have a presentation up here. Can we come on? And this is, well, yes, that really was, but yes.
Thank you all very much. You know, this feels a little like an Academy Award. And so it's only appropriate for me to say thanks to everyone who helped make this movie, because it was a journey. It was a mighty effort by lots of mighty people in this community. And we ended up with a wonderful shelter, and it's been great. It's state of the art, and we can all be so proud of it. And I'm very grateful to have worked with many of you in this room. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a pleasure. And thank you all very, very much. This means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4B, consider on appointment to the Historic Zoning Commission. Mr. Ward. Oh, we didn't do that. Sorry. I haven't put that yet. Sorry, we need to vote on that first to approve the resolution. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Walker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilbert. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 4B, consider an appointment to the Historic Zoning Commission. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council members. The current term of Ms. Elma Anderson on the Historic Zoning Commission expired on April 5th, 2023. Ms. Anderson served on the Historic Zoning Commission since December 2001 as a resident of the North Dixie Historic District. Ms. Anderson has asked not to be reappointed to the Historic Commission due to her other commitments. Members of the Historic Commission serve 5-year terms and are appointed by the mayor with confirmation by a majority vote of the city council. Mayor Lauren Wheaton has wishes to appoint Ms. Jenna Woodford Hillis to fill the vacant spot of Ms. Anderson. Ms. Anderson, I recommend approval of that, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Walker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion? Okay, all vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 5A, consider approval of minutes of council meeting held on May 4th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Baji. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 5B, consider on second and final reading ordinance O-23-0406, rezoning property located on Old Sparta Road, tax map 096, parcel 057.01 from RS20, single family residential to CL local commercial. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There have been no calls or comments, and there's no changes to the ordinance since first reading. I recommend your approval on second and final reading.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Baji. Any discussion? Okay, all vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 5C, consider on second and final reading ordinance O-23-0407, allowing oil change as a permitted use within the CR Regional Commercial District. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Again, you've had no calls or comments, and there's no changes to the ordinance since first reading. I recommend approval on second and final reading.
Thank you. Do I have a motion on 5C?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Baji. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilbert. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 5D, hold a public hearing and consider on second and final reading ordinance O-23-0508, amending the budgets of the general fund, State Street Aid Fund, Solid Waste Fund, Drug Fund, Animal Control Fund, Economic Development Fund, General Improvement Bond Fund, Health Insurance Fund, Electric Department, Gas Department, and the Water Quality Control Departments of the City of Cookeville, Tennessee for the fiscal year ended in June 30, 2023. Ms. Emmel.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, this is the second reading of the ordinance, and we have made one minor change since first reading. That is on this first slide here in the general fund. We have included an additional appropriation in the fire department capital outlay of $80,000. The fire department has located 2 SUVs that they would like to move forward with and purchase while they have the opportunity to, and I think you'll be addressing that later this evening. That increases the total appropriation in the general fund to $1,573,000. There's no change in the amendment for revenues. They remain at $2,935,000. So the change in fund balance with this amendment is $1,361,726 to the general fund. The amendment for all the other funds remain unchanged from first reading. I'll be happy to go through any of them or answer any questions you have about them, but I would recommend your approval on second and final reading.
Thank you. This does require a public hearing, so I will open up the portion of the public hearing for the agenda item 5D. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this agenda item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Bocci. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 6A, consent agenda, set a date 6/15/23 for a public hearing on ordinance 023-0510 to establish zoning in the TT of HCP Hawkins Crawford Road annexation area as CG General Commercial. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilbert. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7A, new business, consider resolution R23-0507, calling for a public hearing on the proposed annexation of territory into the city of Cookeville by owner consent and approving a plan of service for the TT of HCP Hawkins Crawford Road annexation area located off Tennessee Avenue on Hawkins Crawford Road, further identified as tax map 064, parcel 018.01. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. The planning commission has reviewed and made a recommendation on the annexation by owner consent request and proposed plan of services for the TT of HCP Hawkins Crawford Road annexation area as requested by previous resolution of the council. Resolution R230507 includes the recommended plan of services of the annexation area as approved by the planning commission. The resolution sets a date for public hearing for council action on the annexation by owner consent and the plan of services for the regularly scheduled city council meeting on June 15th, 2023. Resolution R230507 further stipulates public notice requirements of Tennessee annexation law. Following the public hearing, the city council may adopt an annexation by owner consent resolution and the territory is immediately annexed into the city of Cookeville. I recommend your approval of R230507. This is the next step in accomplishing an annexation by owner consent, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Bocci. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion? Okay, take a vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7B, consider resolution R230506, committing to provide a one-time financial contribution to Highlands Residential Services for the construction of Red Bud Village, a 20-unit housing development dedicated to serving homeless populations. Mr. Mills.
Mayor, council members, late last year, in December, I believe, Highlands Residential Services came to the city manager's office and inquired about would the city agree to provide some financial assistance for the construction of, as you identified, Red Bud Village, which is intended to provide housing for the homeless population. We looked at several different options. One of the approved uses for the American Rescue Plan Act monies is to housing for the homeless. So we did discuss at that time a contribution using our ARP monies of $250,000. This resolution would formalize that contribution, and I'd recommend your approval of resolution 2356. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bocci. Any discussion?
So just for everyone's information, he's bringing quite a bit more with a grant to the table.
Yeah, they've already received a grant of 2.5 million. They've applied for a second grant, I think, for the same amount. You know how expensive it is to develop now. They need that at least $5 million to do the 20 units they're talking about. It's my understanding this will also be adjacent to their existing development that they have off of Buffalo Valley Road. which I think it's near completed. If you haven't been there, it's really nice. But this is supposed to be adjacent to that same property.
Any other discussion? Okay, all vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7C, consider authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with the Office of Criminal Justice Programs, OCJP, renewing a Victims of Crimes Act VOCA grant. Chief Evans.
Mayor and Council, we currently have a VOCA grant for this position, and it funds our Victim Services Coordinator. We've actually had that grant since about 2017, and initially the grant was like, I think initially was 3 years, and then we applied and got it again, and now it's a year-to-year grant. But we did apply and have been granted this grant for the Victims of Crime Act. As I stated earlier, it does fund our Victim Services Coordinator, and the amount of the grant, which funds her salary and some of her benefits, is $54,773. Of course, we would be responsible for the remainder of any salary or benefits and training and any other expenses. And I'd recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Gilbert. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bocce. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7D, consider authorizing the city manager to accept a Walmart community grant. Chief Evans.
Mayor and Council, we were, I guess, notified of the opportunity to apply for this grant. Apparently, each Walmart store and most communities have a fund set aside for a community grant. And so we were kind of approached and notified that that opportunity existed. So we did apply. And so this was actually awarded through our local store. Obviously the area of focus was on public safety, and so when we submitted for the grant and then ultimately were awarded $2,000, and obviously would ask you to accept those funds and recommend your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Elders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilbert. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7E, consider approval of change order number 1 for the TDOT Multimodal Access Grant Project on SR 24 Spring Street regarding a time extension and additional cost for grading, drainage, and curb and gutter. Mr. Mayo.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Back in the late last year, we bought a contract amendment to request you with Reagan Smith to do some redesign for a grading sidewalk, curb and gutter and storm drainage for the SR 24 Spring Street Multimodal Grant Project. This change order adds 91 days to the project to cover the time required for the survey, redesign, TDOT approval and concurrence, and also to complete the additional work. The majority of the price increase is due to an additional 137 feet of 18-inch reinforced concrete pipe, 22 cubic yards of flowable fill to fill an abandoned existing cross drain, add 335 linear feet of additional curb and gutter. Total for the change order is $64,490. I'd be happy to answer any questions and respectfully request approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Gilbert. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion? We're getting there, aren't we?
Very close. In
Okay.
fact, I think almost the last couple of cores were done today.
Oh, wow. Okay, they were, okay. All right. Everyone hear that. We're getting there.
There's a storm over there right now.
Oh, stop it.
Not a problem with that project.
Okay. Jeez. All right, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, I'll vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7F, consider rescinding 5/4/2023 motion to purchase 24 three-phase feed-throughs. Mr. Haney.
Mayor and council members, once we placed the order for this item, we were notified by the vendor that they could no longer meet our specifications for this item. In order for them to meet it, it would push it past the delivery time and price. So I'm asking for you to rescind this motion so that we can award it to the low bidder that does meet specs.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Bocce. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
So 7G, we will consider awarding bids for 48 three-phase feed-throughs. Mr. Haney.
Mayor, council members, yes. This would award it to the low bidder that does meet specs. They also can supply 48 of those in the same time frame and same price as that. So I would recommend your approval for that one as well.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Gilbert, seconded by Councilman Bocce. Any discussion? Okay, all vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7H, consider approval to purchase 2 SUVs for the fire department. Chief Young.
Mayor and council members, I'm asking for the purchase 2023 Ford Explorers. Will be replacing a 2007 Explorer that the repairs exceed the cost of the value of the vehicle, and an aging 2013 Explorer. As most of y'all are aware, finding a fleet vehicle today is very difficult. We located these this week in Georgia at a dealership. The dealership's honoring the Tennessee state bid, and they're authorized before to do so. The cost for these 2 vehicles is $79,530. Be happy to ask you any questions or request your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Bocce. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion? All vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you very much. That concludes the agenda portion of our meeting. If there is anyone who would like to speak to the city council on non-agenda items, you can step forward. Seeing none, are there any announcements from the council members? Nope. All right, we are adjourned.